Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to go into more depth with the principles of writing and reading, specifically focusing on the consistency principle. And so by the end of this video, you should be able to define the properties of the consistency principle, and you should be able to apply it to improve your own academic literacy. And this one is really going to be much more focused on writing than reading. Because the consistency principle is really what you associate with correct grammar, with writing things the right way. And what the consistency principle at its core is about is that as you write, you need to maintain consistency in your writing. And there's going to be just some core ideas behind that you're going to want to write down and start thinking about as you write and read. And the reason we want to do this is because this is really what makes you seem quote unquote correct. Is when you read something, whether it's for, MLA or APA, you can read it and say oh, that's how we're trying to maintain consistency in this style. So what are those principles? The first one is that writers maintain consistency when they work on coordination. We'll talk more about that here in 1 second. When writers maintain consistency with verb tense, that writers maintain consistency with number, and that's really about the relationship between nouns and verbs and pronouns and other nouns. That writers maintain consistency with point of view, that's like maintaining first person, second person, third person. Writers maintain consistency with tone. If you're trying to sound formal, you keep sounding formal, stuff like that. And the most complicated one and the biggest one is that writers maintain consistency with mechanics. Capitalization, punctuation, commas, all of those specific rules. But let's jump into these really quickly and show you kind of what they look like so you can get a better sense of what they are and how they operate. So the first one is writers maintain consistency with coordination. And this is really when you're creating lists of things. As you list things, you need to make sure that they are coordinating with each other. They are consistent. And so let's look at this. This is a pretty standard, incorrect thing that we would do. Is I like running, biking, and to swim. And you can see that running and biking end the same. They are a verb that ends in ing, makes them present progressive, keep happening. And then we have to swim. And you can see that we could say swimming, but we don't. We break the flow of this. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it just doesn't sound as good, to be honest. If we say something like this, I like running, biking, and swimming, it just maintains a flow that helps us as we read through it. Same thing with this. I like running in races, to bike with my friends, and swimming really fast. Here there's actually two consistency problems. We still have the same one where we're doing ing, and our infinitive form, to bike. So we want to fix that, but also here, look, prepositional phrase. In races, with my friends, prepositional phrase, and then really fast. We could change this a little bit so it flows even better. Again, nothing really wrong with it. It just doesn't flow as pretty as it could. So we could say, I like running in races, biking with my friends, and swimming really fast in the lake. And so here we fix biking, or bike to biking, and we add a prepositional phrase so it sort of maintains that same flow as the other one. And if we want to say that we do it really fast, we can keep that. We just want to maintain the prepositional flow list. Make sense? So again, because I'm coordinating with, a coordinated conjunction, I want to keep stuff in the same, structure. This is also called parallel structure. Let's go to the next one. So that writers maintain consistency with verb tense. What this means is that you want to keep a verb in the same tense unless you're signaling that it's changing. As you write, you generally want to keep your paper in present tense if something is happening in the present tense. If you're talking about a book, you keep it in the present tense. If it's something that happened in the past tense it. But you want to be consistent as you're writing. You don't want to just flip-flop around with when you are in time. Because again, verbs are time markers and you want to be consistent with your time. So here, I'm going to the store and found donuts on sale. Doesn't immediately sound like anything is wrong, but this one is I'm about to go, and this one suggests that you already found donuts on sale. So how did you already find donuts on sale if you're going to the store in the future? It just logically doesn't make temporal sense. That's why we can't do stuff like that. Here, you want to keep it like this. I went to the store and found donuts on sale. We're keeping both of these in the past tense. There's something that already happened. I'm going to the store and finding donuts on sale. You could say that, again, sounds a little suspicious, doesn't totally make the most sense, but as long as it's consistent, we're pretty cool. Again, if you have time markers though, you're fine. I usually swim with my best friends, but yesterday, time marker, I swam with my enemy. You can see here, again, I can shift in time because I told you that I was doing so. And as long as you do that, you're being consistent and we're happy with it. So let's stick with this. Let's keep thinking about numbers. So you want to maintain, if you're talking about plurals, you want to keep them plural. If you're talking about singular, you want to keep it singular, especially as you're transitioning things to pronouns. So if you say the college is open and they will allow students to be there, they is supposed to be replacing college, but they is plural and college is singular. So we just want to shift that to it. If the college is open, then it will allow students to be there. And that's just to maintain, clarity for our readers. It's to make it easy for us to figure out what is replacing what. This also works with verbs. So if we say something like this, the bouquets smell nice, you can hear it immediately that this doesn't sound correct. It should be the bouquet smells, because we have one, so we want this to be singular as well, which paradoxically our singular verb in English ends in an S, while all our plural nouns end in an S. Silly English, we're so silly. But if we add a prepositional phrase here, like the bouquet of flowers smells nice, that's how we would also keep it the same. Oh, sorry, we would keep it the same. Even though this right here might make it seem like we need to shift it to plural, we don't do that. We would drop this prepositional phrase like we did right here, and we would read it this way: the bouquets smell nice, and we would immediately hear that that is not consistent. The bouquet of flowers smells nice. We drop this, bouquet smells, we're good to go. This is just extra information. It is not affecting our verb. Okay, let's keep going. So we need to talk about how we maintain consistency with point of view. This is all about pronouns. If you use first person, stick with first person. If you use second person, don't use second person. If you use third person, stick with third person. So again, first person is I, me, my, we, us, ours. Second person, you, thou, thee, thy. We don't use that unless you're talking biblically. And third person is he, him, his, she, her, hers, it, its, they, their, them, their. And I want to note something with its. Note that there's no apostrophe here, and you can always remember that there's no apostrophe if it's a pronoun that's possessive, because we don't use apostrophes with hers, his, theirs, yours, ours. We don't use apostrophes with pronoun possessives. Yeah. And so basically, if you're going to use these, maintain consistency, keep them the same. So don't switch these without signaling to the reader that you're switching them, and there's, again, no reason that you should switch them. We want to maintain consistency with tone. This one's a little easier. Honestly, you want to select the tone that you're using for your writing. You want to be consistent with it. You want to think about the word choice that you're using, the sentence structure, and other ways of constructing a voice that sounds the same. If you're trying to be authoritative, how do you maintain authority? If you're trying to be humorous, how do you maintain humor the entire time? If you're trying to be serious, etc., etc., etc. You only want to break this when it makes sense or enhances the meaning. If you're being very academic and formal, you don't really want to be funny because it's going to be distracting. Unless it's really good, I guess. But it's probably not going to be good enough. I know, I've tried. People don't like jokes. People are lame. But if it works, do it. Now, maintain consistency with mechanics. This is all of the stuff that you've really been working on with in high school. It's stuff like punctuation, not capitalization, I was going to say periods, question marks, commas, apostrophes, etc., etc. Do you know how to use those? If you don't, email me and we can talk more about it. Capitalization, how do you capitalize things? What are the rules for capitalization in English? Do you know those? Are you consistent? Spelling, not so much of an issue, because of word processing, but are you spelling words correctly? And are you formatting your essay in the correct way? Are you maintaining the same formatting style that MLA would, suggest? And all of this is called orthography. And ortho means correct or straight. Think about orthodontists. And graphy means writing. So this is straight writing, correct writing. It is the correct way of writing. You want to be consistent with your punctuation, your capitalization, Okay, so to review. What is the consistency principle? Are you able to define it? Are you able to identify those different elements that compose it? How do you use the consistency principle when writing? Are you able to identify in your own writing how to use those different elements, particularly the last one, the mechanics, very, very important. And then what confuses you still about the consistency principle? Is there anything about it that you wish you personally understood better? And that could be, hey, Professor Bold, I wish I understood commas better. Hey, Professor Bold, I don't really understand the capitalization rules. Now's your time to ask. Because if you don't understand them in writing, there's a solid chance you don't understand them when reading. And if there's something you don't understand, ask me. I am more than happy to tell you how to understand it, how to break it down, so it makes sense for you and you can be consistent in your own writing. So if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out at kbolt@elgin.edu. More than happy to help you with this. In the meantime, have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.